Loving the Lord my God, I will daily seek his presence, show friendship to others, keep the Pathfinder law, and honour my country. Pathfinder law is to me too. Look for the good in others, aim to do my best, love and respect my family, be thankful for what I have, preserve God's creation, take care of my health, be involved in my church, and do what I can serve.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being part of our church service today. It's going to be a bit of a different one. We have the Pathfinders that are going to be sharing with you the love of God and what they have done this year. So I'd like to just welcome you, friends, families, visitors, guests, and family of families. It's wonderful to see you all here. Just one more thing before we go too much further. When we have lunch, you need to make sure the lady that's leaving now gets a big hug because she's having a birthday today. Oh, wow. I don't know what the number is, but she's more than 21 because that's what I am. Pathfinders that are here participated in one or multiple honours, which is basically skills, creativity, learning about God and things like that. So each one's going to do a little bit of a talk. We've got some photos to go along with each one. So if Eva would come up, it'd be wonderful for her to open with prayer for us.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Dear God, may you bless us to have a good day today. May you bless the investiture to go well. And may you bless us to be able to have fun and share our memories with everyone that we've had this Pathfinder year. May you protect everyone and may you be with them. May you keep everyone safe. May you heal all the people who are sick and may you give them hope. In Jesus' name I pray and believe. Amen.
Thank you.
Cultural Diversity Appreciation Honour. Culture is an art, customs and habits of a nation. It shows their beliefs and values and explains why they do what they do and why some things are important. It explains their way of life. Cultural diversity is all the different groups of nations in one part of the world or the whole world. For example, Australia has a lot of cultural diversities because a lot of groups of people from different places all over the world have come to live here and share their cultures with each other. One of the ways people share their cultures is through food. We decided as a Pathfinder club to find out about the different foods that the people in our church came from. And so we worked with the social committee and had an international food night. Each of the Pathfinder families got to bring along some dishes to represent a culture from their own families. We had Scottish, Zambian, Kenyan, Mongolian, English and Indian. People from our church came along and joined in as well, and we had Greek, Italian, Filipino, New Zealand, Maltese and of course Australian food. It was fun and interesting to try different foods and flavours. We would like to thank the church for joining up with the Pathfinders to have a wonderful international food night.
On the 13th of September, our Pathfinder Club went whale watching. We went on this trip to finish our cetaceans honour and learn more about our local species of whales. Thanks to the team on all sea charters, we got to see many humpback whales and even a mother and calf southern right whale. Many people don't know, but God designed whales with many of the same characteristics we have. Whales are mammals, give birth to young who drink milk, breathe air despite living underwater, and even have hair. On our trip, we also learned how to distinguish southern right whales from humpback whales. We found while observing the whales that a southern right whale actually has no dorsal fin and is longer than the humpback and has white patches on its belly. The humpback whale has knobs on the top of its head, throat grooves and a solid white belly and backside of flippers and extremely long side fins. Also, when they spout, southern right whales have a distinctive V-shaped blow, while a humpback spout is bushy and high. We all had a very memorable trip in many different ways, but once we got out to the rougher seas, I think we all enjoyed watching and laughing at each other trying to climb the stairs in the boat. The boat was like double-story, and without falling overboard or getting concussion on the railings. Some things did go wrong though. Once we got out deep enough, we found how many people in our club get seasick easily. Alyssa, Eva, Carly, Chloe and Henry were crouching at the back of the boat violently sick. In the end, poor Charlie was sick down the stairs and Craig wasn't any better off, while Mrs. Bowles was stuck at the bottom caring for all the other sick kids. Henry fell asleep for the whole trip and Mr. Bowles, who was usually really seasick, took a triple dose of Nausicam the day before and loved it. Zoe and I were one of the only ones who didn't feel sick at all. Altogether, it was a good trip. Thank you.
Seventh-day Adventists begin with a corn, usually corn chips, although larger than restaurant-style chips, are often used as well. Are typically crushed with the heel of the hand, followed by beans and grated cheddar cheese. Lettuce, tomatoes, vegetables, and condiments, especially salsa, are typically added last. Many Adventists are vegetarians, and most official or semi-official Adventist cultural dinings events are vegetarian, which is one of the reasons why Adventist haystacks is so popular within this group. As such, meat is not typically included. Often, a soy-based ground hamburger meat is used as an additional haystack ingredient. Haystacks are commonly an iconic feature of the service used on potlucks served either at church or in members' homes. Seventh-day Adventist named Ella May Hartley is credited with them coming up with the recipe for this version of haystacks. In the early 1950s, when she and her family carved tortillas and could not find a Mexican restaurant close to their home. This year, we got to do haystacks in honor. It was a new honor added this year for all Pathfinders. We went to the Bolt's house for this honor, and we learned about the history of haystacks, but the fun part was making them and eating. The Pathfinders had to help with preparing all the food, cutting up the salads and making the sauce. We got to make our own plate and eat it for dinner. While we were doing all of this, we had a very heated debate where the cheese was supposed to go, and I think the cheese on top won.
This was our second camp of the year. We got to Cooler Cup at night where we set up our camp for the rest of the weekend. On the first morning, we continued the fire-making honour that we had talked a lot about the upcoming hike with Matt Keegan, who was there to help us build the rafts later. Later that day, we started to make our rafts. We used blue barrels and pieces of timber with rope. We lashed all of the things together, but we ran out of rope towards the end, so we used snatchet straps to hold it all together. Bright and early the next morning, we packed up our camp and we were on our way to the Blackwood River where we were going to go rafting. There was about 6 to 7 people per raft, and we had made 2 rafts. It took us about 3-ish hours to get to the little beach where Mum, Beck and Charlene were waiting for us. By the end of it, most of us were cold and hungry, so we hurried to undo the rafts so we could go home. Once everything was loaded onto the back of Matt's trailer, we were off on our way home.
Good morning, church. My name is Eva, and today I'll tell you about our sculpting honour. The requirements of the honour were we had to make different animals or creatures from Play-Doh. We also had to make a hand out of clay and a head out of clay. We did this over 3 meetings and had lots of fun doing it. At the first meeting, we did the hand and the creatures. On the second meeting, we started making the head. And the third meeting was a catch-up for people who missed out on the other meetings. My favourite part of making the sculptures were when we finished making them and all the laughs we had. My least favourite part was when my hands got all icky and muddy from the clay. We ended up making 15 heads in total. Some turned out different and special, and others turned out amazing. For example, some people struggled more with making the shape of the head, and some people struggled with shaping the lips. But they were all creative and unique. Now I'll give you an insight of how our marching was. For each meeting, we did at least 20 minutes of marching. One time, Dale let Zoe instruct us in marching, and it was chaos. We all struggled with our lefts and rights, turning the right way and stopping. We ended up having to get brooms and mops out to help us. We eventually ended up marching around the whole church. Even though it wasn't the best marching, it was good enough. We then came back and practiced halting, which was even more chaos. So we kept calling the halt on the wrong foot, which ended up turning to a debate whether she was calling it on the right foot or not. Turns out she was calling it on the wrong foot over half of the time. The rest of the time, it was just us getting it wrong. We also did this drill where Zoe and Carly tried to make us laugh while we tried to stay still. They did everything they could to make us laugh, because the punishment was running all the way to the sandpit and back. Carly even stuck leaves up our noses, which definitely made us laugh. The person who laughed the most was Alyssa, and Rachel was the person who laughed the least. Overall, it was a fun and positive experience which was filled with laughter and smiles.
Hello everybody. So, we did for our spiritual growth honour this year Bible marking. And it was lots of fun. Yes? You have fun? Yeah. So to start off with, we had to understand what the purpose of Bible marking was and what was involved. So we got to look at a few different ways people do Bible marking, like chain referencing, colour code, cross-referencing, number referencing, highlighting or underlining, and subject lists. We talked together about how each of them worked and discussed the advantages and disadvantages of them as well. Then we asked the Pathfinders which method they would use that would help them give someone a Bible study. Excellent. And one that they might use for their own personal devotional study. We were not too surprised, but the majority liked the idea of colour coding or highlighting. It's almost like being allowed to colour in your Bible. So that was the first method we tried out, and it went fairly well. The Pathfinders brought their own Bibles along and their own pens, highlighters or pencils that they decided to use. We chose a topic and found a whole heap of Bible verses that related to the topic, and everyone took some time to carefully mark the Bible verses and connect it to the topic at the back of the Bible. Do you remember doing this? Yes? Yeah, this is good. Mistakes were made. The biggest being nearly one whole chapter being marked before I realised that the Bible reference had been read wrong. Oops. The second method we tried was chain referencing. Who liked the chain referencing in the end? Nobody? At first, no one was very keen on this idea, but I think that might be because it was actually a little bit hard to understand without actually doing it. Once they started, it was actually tricky to get them to stop. There were a few who were asking me to give them more, so I had to find more, and they actually ended up doing more topics than they actually needed to pass to the honour. Overall, I think it was a successful honour to do with the Pathfinders. It opened up for them a new way of getting into their Bibles for themselves, and maybe as a way for them to help share the Bible with others. In fact, I have had a request from one of my own girls who would like a bigger Bible with bigger margins so she can write better notes. So we're still waiting for that Bible to come in. Oh, well, I think it's there, isn't it? So thank you, kids, for doing the Bible marking honour with us.
Teen Initiative started with a semi-long drive up to Meriden on a lovely Friday night. Once we got there, we did a big welcome, and then we started the story where we went and sat at a big rock amphitheatre, and they started telling us the story of the reformers. Once we had finished there, we were on our way following the soldiers to a whole heap of different spots which had people talking about the stories to us. Eventually, we made it to the campsite and we were told which groups we were staying in, and then we had to set up camp at around midnight. On the second day, we started with a worship, and then we were given our food that we had to make last the rest of the weekend. After breakfast and a little clean up, we started a whole bunch of activities. It was like a big competition between all the different groups or like tribes. We started with a flag making and team naming, and then we walked to a rock to have church and And then on our way back, we had to run away from the soldiers to get all the way down for our lunch. Then we did a hidden code message game, which was really fun. And then we did like the fire burning rope, where the rope is there and you've got to like make the fire burn the rope. But it was wild. And then we played a variation of Capture the Flag. And then we had a worship and then dinner, and then we went to a big bonfire at night where they told us a bit more of the story. On the last day, we packed up and had our last worship, and then played a really big flag game, which is really hard to explain, so I won't. And then we packed up the big meeting area, and then we got on the buses and went to the conference office. We thought it would be smooth sailing from there all the way home, but it didn't, because the bus broke down. And we had to push the bus to a different car park, and then go to the next one. And then we had to find a lift to get home.
So I'd go straight for a bit. Straight.
The battery died on the bus. That's what happened.
Turn.
Okay. So we were all a bit split up for this one. So Chloe, Eva, Charlie and Alyssa did D grade, which involves having a base camp where you have all your stuff in, like your tent and all that, and then you just take a day pack and then you go up to you get bused to different mountains and then you climb all the mountains. The mountains they went up was Mount Trio, Hassel and Magog, my bad. Rachel and Henry did B grade, which you carry all your stuff, most of your stuff, except for your water, and then you like go and set up the different nights. And they just walked along the fire break and back. Me and Zoe and a few other people, we did A+. So we were dropped off at... A+ is where you carry all your stuff for the entire weekend. All of it. Your food, your clothes, your bedding. We were dropped off at Ellen's Peak car park and then had to travel along the fire break from there, and that took us around an hour and a half-ish. We then travelled up North Melpunda track once we made it to the point where we started to walk up the mountain. We had to stop for a long time because there was an incident that had happened on the mountain, so we were delayed. They needed to get somebody helicoptered off, so we had to wait at the bottom. Then we continued our trek up Melpunda track to First Area, and we made it to She Oak Col, where we stayed the night. On the next day, we were up bright and early on our way up North Isongrup then to Isungrup, and then South Isungrup, and South Isungrup is where we kind of had like our mini lunch break, kind of, yeah. Then we walked down Mungungundarup Hill, and then through Eucalyptus Col, and then the never-ending trek up to the east peak of Bluff Knoll. Then down and then up again like yo-yos to the final stretch of Bluff Knoll. Then down the stairs of Bluff Knoll to the car park with the very little energy we had left. There's a video.
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars were made to worship so light, I can see your heart in everything you've made.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'll be talking about beachcombing. On the 1st of November, the Pathfinders went beachcombing at the campground. Here are the names of the shells we found. Abalone shells, which are shells that are slightly ridged and have holes down the sides. Also butterfly shells, which were shells that are connected at the tips. There are cone shells as well. We also learnt how to stay safe on the beach. Here are some things you can do. Check the tides, watch the weather, look out for blue ringed octopuses and blue bottles and glass and metal. We walked onto the campground beach and walked slowly along the beach, scanning for different shells. Butterfly shells were most common. Once we finished collecting the shells, we had to make a big sand castle using all of our shells. After that, we talked all about the different types of shells, and because it was our last meeting, we had a barbecue dinner where there was a lot of mosquitoes, but the ice cream made up for it. It was a very fun last meeting of the year.
We did Stormcoat at Meekthara this year. It was my 4th Stormcoat and Carly's 2nd. The people who ran it this year were Natalie, our sister, and Tilly Hardy. They were by far the best leaders we've ever had. They made it really fun and everyone enjoyed it this year. We did service at Carolindi Campground site, cleaning up the rubbish and doing some raking and emptying of bins. And some of our other service jobs were helping set up the Carolindi NAIDOC ball, and then we also helped clean up the NAIDOC ball. We also walked around Meekthara town and picking up rubbish to help clean up a bit more.
Considering that it was NAIDOC week, it was a little bit tricky this year as there was other activities on at the same time, so there wasn't a lot of kids some of the days. We still ran our kids club every day except for one because we couldn't. With a kids club, and then there was face painting games, music and crafts, which the kids all loved. But it wasn't just doing service and all the stuff with the kids. We did team building with our group, and there was a lot of catching up with our friends. A highlight would have to be watching the State of Origin with one of the youth leaders. That was really fun. But with all the good comes some bad. There was a bit of trouble with the plumbing, but we had 2 guys learn from the bus driver how to fix it, and also quite a few people did end up sick. But apart from all that, it was a really good year and we really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Aren't these awesome Pathfinders? You guys have done a wonderful job this year being Pathfinders. Now, our district director, Samuel, has shown up. He made a few wrong turns because the GPS sent him to the campground and then to other places. So thank you for making your way here. But isn't there a saying that goes along the lines of nature's God's second Bible or something like that? Has anyone heard that? Yep? Okay, good. I'm not making that up. How much time do you reckon we spent in nature? A fair bit, and a lot of the memory moments are done in nature. And God actually has a way of teaching us and being with us to be able to understand who He is by the enormity of His creation. I'd like to invite Samuel up now and introduce him to you. We've had Alicia step down because she has other things that she needs to do. And Samuel stepped up to look after our club. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Good morning, church. Hello, Pathfinders. Bassaton Pathfinder could be the smallest club that we have in our conference. But I can tell you they are huge. The activities that they've just mentioned here are not just club activities. Let me recite. This club takes part in every conference activity. Pathfinder Expedition is a conference activity. Stormcore is a conference activity. Teen Initiative is a conference activity. And on top of that, they have got their own. When I was looking at the videos, that was the time I was supposed to be here, and I regretted the boat was looking very, very good. And I thought, oh, if I go sailing and then I go driving, I might puke in my car, so let me just stay out.
I got some tablets that work wonders.
To the Pathfinders of Bassaton Pathfinder Club, you have always been amazing. Can I give you the previous report? On the parade last year at Collaborate, Bassaton was the highest in terms of uniform and uniformity in dressing. We hope this year you'll be the same. To Dale, who has been so much involved in looking after the club and taking part in the conference activities, is not just a director here, but is also mentoring other Pathfinders elsewhere. As you can see, all the activities that these people have taken part, he has. And because of that, we do appreciate your contribution that you are making to the conference and the difference that you are making to the lives of the children, not just your own club. To the church, we are so grateful that you are still willing to support this club. And we, at any time, we are also willing. Let me also introduce myself that I'm a coordinator of leadership in Master Guide. How many of you were Master Comrades? Those who did Pathfinder a long time ago? Yeah? Master Comrades, during that time, we are doing it as Master Guide afterwards, after things changed. And we are ready to support your journey in leadership so that you can go higher and higher. And those who have just joined, we want you to be part and parcel of this good club and this good image that has been portrayed for a long time. In a nutshell, I just traveled all this way to say thank you to Dale and thank you to the Pathfinder and to the church. May God bless you all.
Thank you. Right, so we're going to give out all the awards now. Don't run away just yet, Samuel. So what's going to happen is some of these kids are going to be what's called invested because they've completed all the requirements. Some of them are going to get the honours that they've awarded. And I just invite all these people up at the moment. So Alyssa. Ethan. Chloe. I'm allowed to give her a hug. Rachel. Eva. Carly. Olivia. And the last one, who's not technically a Pathfinder anymore, she's a junior counsellor, Zoe. You can tell who likes the hugs. So just thank you, Pathfinders, for all your work. There's some special things in there, and there's a whole heap of things that are missing because some things didn't show up in the mail. If there's anything missing, I will get it to you at some point. Thank you, church, for supporting our Pathfinders through your local budget offerings, as well as your time and effort and support for us to be away from here, supporting our local community. Samuel's going to do the charge to the Pathfinders, so just invite you up.
Pathfinders, please stand. And the leader. Pathfinders, we've come to the end of your curriculum. And as you portray the uniform that you dress, the ability and the program and the insignia that you have received today represents the highest that Seventh-day Adventists could award you. I therefore charge you to be of diligent, ensure that you adhere to the pledge and law, and in all circumstances, ensure that you represent your God, your church, and your family. Above all, represent yourself in an upright manner. I also charge you to be loyal, and in your loyalty, ensure that you participate in the programs of the church, in the programs at home, and in the programs at your club. Therefore, you are all charged and upheld to be Pathfinders and go and perform to your fullest. May God bless you all.
If you bow your heads with us. Thank you so much, Lord, for a wonderful Sabbath day. Thank you so much for these awesome Pathfinders. Thank you so much for a church that supports them and a community and a conference that supports them. Lord, please be with each person here and the people that haven't been able to make it here today. Please bless them and be with them as they walk with you in their lives. Thank you so much for loving us and caring for us and keeping us safe in all that we do, especially on our camps. In your name, amen.